Now, that has become one of the great plays at Euro 2016. Iceland's players leading their fans in that celebratory thunderclap. The team of virtual unknowns has shocked the soccer world with its giant killing exploits. And today, Iceland will hope to spring another with a win over host nation France in the quarterfinal. Now, few experts give that tiny North Atlantic nation any real hope, but try telling that to the Icelanders. 10% of the population of the country has flocked to Paris, believing that their fairy tale is not over yet. And while it may be too late to get tickets to the actual game, the bars are filling up fast. And our next guest is a musician and an Icelandic-Canadian living in Paris. Kiri Christensen, like so many others, has recently hopped on the Icelandic bandwagon. She joins us now from a bar in Paris where she is awaiting the start of the game. Kiri, welcome to the show. Love that hat. So you're an Icelandic citizen. Canadian citizen as well, living in Paris during the Euro Cup. Everything around you is Euro Cup related. How are you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling very excited like everyone else. I just heard someone say only 3 hours to go, but it's wonderful. There's a kind of contagious joy and anticipation spreading through the air. It's colorful, it's electric, and even though it's a gray, rainy day, it feels like a national holiday or a festival. I mean, you can hear Icelandic being spoken in the streets, which is very surreal in Paris, and everyone is talking about the match. I mean, regardless of nationality, it seems that most soccer fans have been utterly charmed and moved by the Icelandic team. I hear people say that the Icelanders' quality of love and enthusiasm for the sport is so refreshing, and as I said, contagious. And they have certainly converted me during this Euro Cup, as you mentioned.
We'll talk about that. At what stage did you decide, oh, okay, they might actually have a shot? At what point do you say, I'm going to get the jersey on?
Well, I think that, I was in the recording studio the other day, and the sound engineers I was working with were watching it on their phones, and it was the Iceland versus Austria game. So I think it was precisely the moment when the announcer Gudmundur Benediktsson began to scream with an outburst of joy. And I couldn't resist from that point on.
Well, I'm wondering, what do you think changed in their play? Because, you know, Iceland, you think Northern Lights, you think a beautiful landscape, you don't necessarily think soccer. So what changed in this team?
Well, I think you know, with the Icelandic team, what we're seeing, what everybody's saying, is the incredible attitude of the players. I mean, as we've seen, they play as a real team, as a real unit. It's not just one flashy star and all the rest. There seems to be a real communication and camaraderie between the players. That is perhaps a direct result from the size of the country, from the geography and the climate. There's this kind of sense that in order to make it happen, they have to work together, that they have to know their strengths and make the best of them. And, you know, the result is just such exciting soccer. And I think in the light of recent events in Europe, it's also a really positive and encouraging dynamic for, you know, the whole continent.
So we've talked about how so many Icelanders have decided to come over to France, and I know you're in that bar right now. Are there many other Icelandic fans with you, or is it kind of lonely there?
Well, no, it's not lonely at all. I mean, I could flip the camera around and you could see, no, it's very packed. I don't know if there are any Icelanders here right now. I wouldn't doubt it. As you mentioned, there are 10% of the population here. And today, I think I've heard Icelandic being spoken on the streets like maybe 10 or 12 times, which is something that I've never heard in Paris before. So it's remarkable.
Okay, so before I let you go, I see that you're wearing the Icelandic colors. I also know you're a musician and you're a performer. So I'm wondering if you can leave us with a little bit of cheer for your team.
Yeah, I can leave you with a bit of cheer. And I mean, I'm surrounded by French fans, I think, actually, right now. But as you can see, I'm wearing my lucky Icelandic coin, which I found in the streets of Reykjavik.
Okay.
So I think it's got to be worth something. And I mean, you know, as a musician, I've had a chance to spend some time in Iceland, and I think, you know, it's a phenomenon that we also see in the music scene, this kind of like grassroots, you know, sort of DIY and sort of an idealistic and authentic way approach to making music. So it certainly resonates with my values as a musician, and I think a lot of people in Canada are rooting for Iceland too. So all together, go Iceland.
Okay, go Iceland. Takk, and good luck, Kiri. Icelandic-Canadian and musician
Thank
Kiri
you.
Christensen speaking to us from a bar in Paris.